Good morning. Welcome to the Sacramento Center for Spiritual Living, and welcome to our virtual Sunday service. I'm Ruth Hall, President of the Board of Trustees and your production manager for today. This service will be recorded, as you probably are familiar, but for those who are new, we post this video on YouTube and also on our website, so that other people from other places can join in and listen to our Sunday services. So if you'd like to remain anonymous, you are welcome to turn off your video or change your username. Remember that we have this wonderful website at saccsl.org. It has all the information about our center, about when we meet in person and virtually, about our classes, and all kinds of events that we have coming up. So check out our website so you can keep up to date on that. Thank you also to our YouTube visitors. We appreciate that you go to YouTube to see our services, and we appreciate your donations that help us keep our YouTube subscription up to date and allows us to be able to reach more people in other areas besides just locally. So thank you again for your donations. At this time, I'd like to welcome our practitioner of the day. Margie Lukefeld is one of our wonderful practitioners that is not only a beautiful soul and a beautiful presence in our center, but also a prayer warrior, because boy, does her prayers make a difference, as well as all of our prayer team. So welcome, Margie, and please take it away with our invocation for this morning.
Thank you, Ruth. And going within, and with that deep breath that goes right into our heart and through our whole body, it's so healing and so relaxing. So I take this breath as I invoke divine presence of all there is, the presence of love, the presence of balance and peace and harmony and joy. And all that this presence is, I am. For I know that each one here on the Zoom and to watch it later, they also are one. For we are one with this God presence. And as I know this, I know that the service today is blessed, and it's exactly what each one of us need to hear. And as we listen and open our ears to Reverend Patricia's wonderful message this morning, and as we enjoy the service. And so with gratitude, I let this go. I'm so grateful. And together we can say, and so it is. Thank you. Please enjoy the readings for today. Oh, living everyday wonder as our beautiful body. Humankind is a threefold principle of life and action. Each person is spirit, mind, and body. From spirit, we receive inspiration and guidance. In mind, we find a perfect law of life. And through body, we prove that we are individualized points of invisible principle. Ernest Holmes. Our sorrows and wounds are healed only when we touch them with compassion. The secret of health for both mind and body is to live the present moment wisely and earnestly. The Buddha. And now please join me in welcoming our wonderful, wonderful longtime poet, Doug VanWoerkom. And I can hear a drum in my soul's ear coming from the depth of the stars. And that's from Rumi. And Doug has been performing the original poetry and of Rumi and Hustis, accompanied by his drum for 20 years. He is a regular performing artist at our center, and today we're getting an original work of art. Please welcome Doug VanWoerkom. Yay, everybody.
Good morning, everyone. Slight change. I'll be reading a Hafiz poem this morning, actually. This is a Daniel Ladinsky version of a Hafiz poem. It's called The God Who Only Knows 4 Words. Every child has known God, not the God of names, not the God of don'ts, not the God who ever does anything weird, but the God who only knows 4 words and keeps repeating them over and over, saying, "Come dance with me. Come dance with me." Every child has known God, not the God of names, not the God of don'ts, not the God who ever does anything weird, but the God who only knows 4 words and keeps repeating them, saying, "Come dance with me. Come dance with me."
Woohoo! Good morning. As you might guess from the song and the poetry selection, I will be talking about the joy and freedom that we embody in our bodies. But first, I want to welcome back long travelers. Ruth and Clicky finally got back last week, and now Jim and Jennifer are back from their travels. Woo! Welcome back. Reverend Corina, we haven't seen you in a while, so it's good to see you back too. Just glad all of you are here with us. Okay. Last week was kind of a heavy week, and I addressed generational trauma. And given that one of the books this month is Bessel van der Kolk's The Body Keeps Score, I feel obligated to also address how our individual bodies respond to trauma. And I will, but I want to start somewhere else. Science of Mind teaches that there is a single cause behind the manifest universe, behind all creation, and that the manifest universe is the body of God. We also teach that not only is there a creator, there is also a creative process. It operates both universally and individually. Same process, different scale. This is the creative process is also known as the trifold nature of God or the Holy Trinity. But we generally refer to it as spirit, soul, and body, where spirit is the thing itself, as Ernest Holmes, our founder, called it. And you can call it God, spirit, divine intelligence, life, love, or however you want to call it. It's where soul is what we refer to as the law of mind or the law of manifestation. And body is where either the entire manifest universe or the body that I live in exists, the body that you live in. All of creation is the body of God. And we are life expressed as unique individuals, divine ideas, divine expressions having a human experience. Science of Mind does not subscribe to any notion that the body is anything other than something to be celebrated. Think of it. We have all these sensory inputs: vision, hearing, touch, taste, smell. Our senses literally take in data and upload it to our brains. Our 3 brains. The reptilian brain, which is our brain stem and the autonomic responses that are in charge of survival and regulating the body. And the mammalian or limbic system, the emotional part of our brain that we just spent the last month on emotions and how they move us into action. And then we have our cortex, which is the cognitive or thinking brain that deals with what's termed as executive function. And it's also our sense of time, the past, present, and future. In concert with our neurological, hormonal, sympathetic, and parasympathetic biological systems, our three brains translate the sensory input from our body. And that's how we make sense of the world and how we respond. Phew. Lots and lots of moving parts. And boy, do we respond. I want you to think of art. All art comes through our bodies. The creation of art, whether it be visual, music, sculpture, literature and poetry, or textural, like weaving and fabric art, painting rocks for those of us who love that, all are translations of sensory input in an effort to communicate the meaning of the artist's sensory experience. All relationship is through the body. It's estimated that 7% of communication is verbal, meaning the words that we use, and 93% is nonverbal. It's body language, tone, the timbre of our voice, facial expressions, gestures, touch, the hand on your shoulder, the smile between old friends, the single glance between an established couple that speaks volumes. We relate via our bodies. Pleasure is communicated through our senses, through our body. A hand that gently caresses our cheek, holding hands or a hug. Remember, we need 12 hugs a day for optimal health. The shared physical intimacy and glory of sex with someone you love. The body is pleasure. Food, the smells and the tastes of holidays. Each one is special and unique and varies by culture and family. 4th of July is coming up. For me, I was raised in the Midwest. 4th of July is charcoal and the smell of charcoal and hamburgers and potato salad and home churned peach ice cream, watermelon, okay? Thanksgiving is turkey and pumpkin pie. Name an American holiday and I can taste and smell the food. Seasons have their own fragrances and sensations. The smell of cut grass in the summer, the chlorine smell of a swimming pool, the ozone of summer thunderstorms, the crunch of fall leaves, the crisp, clean cold of winter, the silence of snow. The body is a joyous miracle. Your body is a gift of grace, nothing more and nothing less. Your body is a gift from life, from God, from spirit to you. So are allergies, I guess. Our bodies are incredible conduits between God and our individual consciousness, and they are to be celebrated for the way they allow us to experience the world. Our bodies are designed to connect to the world through our senses and then translate all that raw data, the sound, sight, touch, temperature, smell, taste, into ways that we can both enjoy this world that is ours and keep ourselves safe. This is the ideal, the Garden of Eden experience. None of us, however, live in the garden. It is beyond the scope of this talk to address why we don't live in the garden. It's beyond the scope of this talk to address suffering and pain. Let me just say that it is not because Adam and Eve sinned and now life is a punishment. That is absolutely and categorically untrue. It is part of the mystery and hear that with capital letters and quotation marks, the mystery of life, that there is a primal awareness of the garden experience and a gap between that knowledge and our everyday experience. Whatever has happened or will happen to you in your life will never change the foundational truth. We are beloved of God, beloved of Spirit, and created by divine design to express life. We are human, and we are love made alive in the world. So, along the way of our lives, stuff happens. The word in common usage today for the worst of that stuff is trauma. Our bodies connect us to the natural world. Our bodies connect us to each other. And our bodies connect us to God, to Spirit. And trauma messes with all of those connections. Trauma is shocking. Trauma, by definition, is both unbearable and inescapable. Trauma short circuits our body-mind connection. Trauma overwhelms our body's usual way of handling stress. Trauma is non-verbal. It shuts down both our cognitive and frequently our limbic brains and goes straight to the reptilian fight or flight or freeze survival response. It is all right brain, images and sounds and color and no language. So no way to think through and process it. Trauma is on a continuum. The longer it lasts and the more inescapable it is, the more disruption it causes. Think war and early child abuse, extended child abuse. Did you know that witnessing abuse can be more traumatic than directly experiencing it? No child can prevent a parent's abuse of another child or adult. But the feelings of helplessness of a witness morph into shame and guilt over a sense of responsibility for not stopping the abuse. A bit of statistics here. Roughly 25%, 1 in 4 of all soldiers will experience PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, which is the most severe response to trauma. Think of the most recent wars that we've experienced in Iraq, 2 of them, Afghanistan, and Vietnam before that. There are a lot of veterans in the US. More shocking to me is that for every soldier that experiences PTSD, statistics show that there are 10 children abused at the hands of those who were supposed to be their caregivers. 1 in 5 women have experienced rape or sexual assault. 25% of men have experienced some form of contact sexual violence in their lifetime. Add in the sudden death of a family member, the fires like in Paradise and Santa Rosa, floods, earthquakes, car accidents, and the chance of trauma is inescapable. I don't tell you these things to be sensational or dramatic. I tell you these things because they are all too true and all too common as life experiences in our community. We all have trauma in our lives. If you, like me, have been relatively blessed, please know that every day you are around folks who have lived through unbearable and inescapable pain and terror. People who have borne trauma are in your family, siblings, cousins, parents, in-laws. They're in your workplace, in your neighborhood, and here in our CSL community, here in our Sacramento CSL community. Trauma blasts a person open, and when the dust settles, it can set that experience like concrete, locking us into ways of seeing and interacting with the world that, while they may have aided our survival in the moment, they're not healthy in the long run. Trauma-informed psychotherapy is becoming the standard of care, regardless of the theoretical orientation of the given therapist. Again, we all suffer some level of trauma in our lives. And as soon as we escape our traumatic experience, wherever it is on that continuum of trauma, we start burying the memory. While we may consciously forget or downplay, minimize the impact of our experiences, the body does not forget, and it remembers in complete honesty. It makes astute and frequently non-linear connections to sensory input that can cause us to have physical and emotional reactions that we don't even recognize as being a result of our traumatic experience. If we do note our under or over responses, we don't understand them. And we don't understand them because our memory is right-brained, body-based, and stored without language or reason. Stay with me. I'm going to take a little segue into science nerdism. I know I've got science nerds out there. And this is from our book, The Body Keeps Score. The book gives two really clear examples of responses to trauma from a couple that were in the 13th car of an 87 vehicle pileup on a Canadian highway caused by sudden dense fog. They had an 18-wheeler go over and crush the front of their car and wedge them in. A car landed on top of their car and burst into flames, with the passenger still inside. A truly horrifying, traumatic experience. To assist trauma researchers to understand the neurology of their experience, the couple agreed to have a special MRI. It's called an fMRI, taken while someone talked them back through their experience. And the pictures that came out of that were phenomenal. You can tell brain activity in the MRIs based on the amount of color. And this was a black and white, so it was just shades of gray and black. Lots of color meant lots of activity. White spaces meant no activity. On one of the MRIs, the limbic brain, for the most part, was totally lit up. There were some blank spots, but there was so much activity going on in the limbic brain and in the brainstem. But across the front, the prefrontal cortex, the cognitive part of the brain, dead white, no activity. It was not online. In the other one, neither the cognitive nor the limbic brain had any activity. It's like looking at a brain scan of a dead person. I mean, it was just almost no neural activity. There was some in the brainstem to keep things going, but it was totally shut down. Because of the shutting down of the frontal cortex for both of them, the traumatic experience never actually ended for either of them. One lived in a hyper-alert, hypersensitive, hyper-reactive state, and any sound or sensation that triggered him trapped him right back in the car, in the wreck. The other lived at a distance from her own life. And when triggered, she shut down completely. Remember, prefrontal cortex is where we do time. And it's where we can think, it's cognition. No matter how much insight and understanding we develop, the rational cognitive brain cannot talk to the emotional nor the survival brain out of its reality. And when our past is triggered, our past trauma, we are living in our emotional or survival brain, and we are living in an unending now that no longer exists except in our memory. Now, the good news is that our body is more than a biochemical machine walking our heads from room to room. Our bodies are more than containers walking our consciousness around in the world. I love those phrases, and I'm grateful for the CSL ministers who put them in today's talk notes. Our body is more than a biochemical machine walking our heads from room to room. It's more than a container walking around our consciousness. We have wonderfully creative minds and wonderfully responsive bodies. We also have wonderfully creative bodies and wonderfully responsive minds, as the two are always acting in a reciprocal dance with one another. Now, in our teaching, we generally focus on a top-down causation, using the mind to influence an effect in our physical body or the body of our experiences. But we know that physical experiences in the body can create unhealthy or undesired effects in the mind in a bottom-up fashion. We can interrupt the cycles of trauma, both personally and collectively, by intervening with either mind or body, top down or bottom up, so to speak. This is another strength of our teaching. We know that we are mind, body, and spirit. We honor and respect all three. Generally, we focus on the mind and spirit through prayer, the top-down approach. But this month, we're looking at the body. And there are ways that our body can be our wise guardian and guide in our recovery from trauma. Our body can help us reconnect our mind and our spirit. Now, let me add a caveat here. I am not a psychotherapist. I am not a trauma specialist. If you are or think you are experiencing PTSD, I can counsel you and point you in the direction of information and resources. And we, your ministers and practitioners, your spiritual warriors, can support the spiritual side of your healing. The healing of trauma is to be able to live in the actual present, the now, and to know that you are safe. Trauma-informed psychotherapy has some wonderful techniques to reawaken the brain structures that shut down when overwhelmed by trauma. But there are also simple and powerful everyday practices, spiritual practices, that can both illuminate and anchor you in the now and remind or rebuild your internal sense of safety. How many times have we talked to you about breathing? How many treatments, Margie did it today, start with take a breath? Simply focusing all of our attention on our breath, the in and out mechanics of breathing grounds our body. If you feel yourself shutting down, count your breaths. Breathe in on a count of 4 or 5 and breathe out on a count of 3. Probably easiest to breathe in with your nose and out with your mouth. Breathing in longer and out faster energizes your system. Just don't go too long or excessively, or you'll hyperventilate, and that's no fun for anyone. So feel yourself ramping up, getting nervous or anxious, reverse the process. Breathe in on a count of 3 or 4 and breathe out on a count of 5. Breathing out longer and slower slows things down in your body. When you feel a shift of energy in your body, then you can regulate your breathing so it's even. Same count in, same count out. This physically resets your sympathetic and parasympathetic neural systems. It's science that yoga has been teaching for centuries. Breathing assists in getting you anchored in a more balanced body in the here and now. Meditation and contemplation can assist in knowing that here and now are safe. Walking meditations in nature are enormously healing. You focus on putting one foot in front of the other. Close your eyes and just imagine with me. See yourself walking in your favorite place. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Listen to the wind, the birds, the squirrels, the leaves moving in the trees or crunching under your feet. Can you hear water flowing? Feel the sunshine. Feel the temperature change as you go from sun to shade. Can you smell how the sun-warmed fragrance of the plants and trees rises in the air? Even rock has its own scent. Connect with your senses. When you are present in your body, remind yourself that wherever you are, God is. Life is. The creator that created all is in you, walking in your body as you. You are never alone. Love always surrounds you. Deep breath. For those of you that are out in the woods, you can come back now. Or not. Sitting meditation is a way of learning to sidestep the automatic monkey chatter of the mind that is designed by your ego to take up space and distract you from just being in the eternal here and now. There are so many different meditation techniques. Some are very structured, some free form. But the experience of falling into the silence recreates our world on a much larger framework and helps us escape a limited trauma-based reality. Gratitude practices can remind you of all the good in the world and in your life. To feel gratitude is to change your biochemistry and thereby leave a new memory in your body. There are specific prayers and chants energetically designed to comfort, to lift your spirits, to open your heart, or establish safety. Contemplation is a way of taking words and ideas that have meaning for you deep into yourself and letting them open up, like a flower blooming and releasing its fragrance in your being. Whatever body-based spiritual practice you choose to do, it will over time gently heal and strengthen the mind-body-spirit relationship. We can use our bodies to feel into the holy moment before us, becoming completely present to the actual here and now. The physical is not somehow separate from the spiritual. The body is a spiritual thing in its own right. By getting acquainted with the activity of God through your body, by accessing your intuition, by listening to the nudges and at times shouts from our body directing our lives, we move into a deeper experience of the mystery of God and the reality of a harmonious and joyful life. Engaging with our bodies is not separate from engaging our spirituality. The body is worth attention and love for the very fact that the divine mind saw fit to manifest them. Our bodies are spiritual instruments, and we can learn to turn closer to God, closer to the center and source of life, by developing the patience and attunement to listen to them deeply. What keeps us from listening to the wisdom of our bodies? What is it that makes the still small voice that whispers through our mind acceptable, yet the soft whisper or screeching siren through our bodies are dismissed as only conditions and not given the opportunity to teach us what they are trying to communicate? Your body is the place where your individual soul presses against the one soul, the vehicle that lets you participate in the experience of this world. Even if its guidance feels off or confusing, what would it be like to trust your divine instrument? We do not have to understand every insight, intuition, or inclination that we receive through our body. But we might find that the more we truly listen to it, the more it makes sense. The more we practice listening, the more we are able to just breathe and be present in the awareness of life, present in the awareness of love happening through each of us and our bodies right here and right now. This is the wonder of life, the wonder of having a body. And this year we're focusing on living everyday wonder. And we have the perfect instrument to live every day in wonder, in connection, in joy. So join with me in prayer now, if you will. In the continuing awareness that there is only one life, one presence, one joy, one love. And it is fully and completely present in every cell of my body. In every movement of emotions, of thoughts, and every connection that I make with the world and with other humans. I live and I move and I have my being in love, in God, in life. And so I let go. I relax into the ever-present love that moves in me, as me, and surrounds me. I let love have its way with me. I let joy have its way with me. I let peace have its way with me. I am in the flow of life in all areas of my experience, physical health, relationships, money and abundance, creative self-expression, purpose, all of it. I cherish the gift of being in a body to experience this world of wonders. And I place this knowing into the law of mind that just opens up its theoretical arms, wraps them around me, and says, oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes. And so with great gratitude for answered prayer, I say, and so it is.
Stand on a bridge before the cavern of night, darkness alive with possibility. Nose to this wind full of twinkling lights, trying to catch the scent of what's coming to be in this world of wonders. World of wonders. World of wonders. World of wonders. Somewhere a saxophone slides through changes like a wet pipe dripping down my neck. Gives me a chill, sounds like danger, but I can't stop moving till I cross this sector of this world of wonders. World of wonders. World of wonders. World of wonders. There's a rainbow shining in a bead of spittle, falling diamonds in a rattling rain, light flexed on moving muscle. I stand here dazzled with my heart in flames at this world of wonders. World of wonders. World of wonders. World of wonders.
This is a time that we are offering you an opportunity to give. We teach tithing, which is giving to that which serves you, that which supports your spiritual growth. Yes, we need money to be in the real world, to pay our rent, to pay our salaries, to do all the stuff that as an organization we need to do. But we ask you to give as a spiritual practice to yourself through us, because we provide a community and a teaching that supports your life. So you're giving to yourself through us. And that's the opportunity that we are giving you. Think about it. We have several ways that you can support us. You can use PayPal or Square through our website. You can send a personal check. And please sign up for Amazon Smile and put us as the charity your response that you support. Every little bit helps. It's just amazing. And we especially thank the YouTube audience that we very rarely get to see in live and in person, but we know you're there and we love you and we love your support of us. So thank you for your gifts. Again, you give to yourself through us. We're just the vehicle for your growth and your support. Thank you. Now, if you join with me for abundance affirmation, abiding by the law of circulation and in heartfelt gratitude, I affirm that I live in a creative and abundant universe that continuously flows in, through, and out as me, expressing as the ever expanding infinite good. And so it is. Our prayer warriors, I really love, Ruth, when you said that. We have a prayer request line, and it is on our website through www.saccsl.org. You can just type it in, it comes to us, and we treat for you. So we would love to support you for your growth, for a change, any change in circumstance that you are looking for. Please contact us. Linda was supposed to be here to do our announcements, which is why her name's on the slide, but she's having technical difficulties, so I'm going to fill in for her. As usual, we were telling you that we meet live and in person on odd Sundays. This is an even Sunday, the fourth Sunday, which is why we're on Zoom only. But on the first, third, and fifth Sundays, we meet both in person at the Citrus Heights Community Center and on Zoom. And please join us. There is, now that the COVID is down a bit, and we're pretty much mostly vaccinated, please come and join us. There's nothing like exchange of energy in person, whether you hug or not, just being in person in our loving community is just, it's a treat. So treat yourself and come join us next Sunday. Tomorrow, we have our Busy Hands, Warm Hearts, second and fourth Monday of the month. We gather at my house, bring whatever project you're working on, or leave your project at home and just come anyway. We have a wonderful, warm time for conversation. And if your hands are busy and need to be busy, do that also. And it's going to be outside on my deck. So it's a wonderful time. Debbie Putnam has started a book study, Reverend Debbie Putnam, on Tuesday evenings from 6 to 8, following Michael Bernard Beckwith's book, Life Visioning. Visioning is a transformative spiritual practice, and it is a group process. And this is a very lively group that talk back and forth. So it's a great way to get connected to our community if you're new to us. On July 17th, there will be a Celtic chakras workshop given by Linda Connolly. And it'll be both hybrid. It's hybrid, it's both in Zoom and in person, because our third Sunday will be in person. What's cool about Celtic chakras is most chakra work is about clearing out the past, and Celtic chakra work is about the future. So come and discover the spiritual practice of the infinity symbol and start a conversation between your chakras. It's going to be a fabulous time with Linda. Our social outreach, based on what our community voted on, creates a project for us to support once a quarter. And this quarter, we're working with the Women's Empowerment Group. You can mail this time we're doing money rather than collecting goods. So you can send your checks directly to Women's Empowerment. And if you do, make sure you put it in the note field that you're with the Sacramento CSL, so they know that we are supporting them. Or you can send donations directly through our website. Just make sure to make the notation so that we know that this is a donation to the Women's Empowerment. And then we will be writing them a check in August from the church to support their activities. They're a wonderful group. So now our last gift to you this Sunday is an affirmation for you to take with you and just let it come to you in your mind. You can put it on your mirror, just let it resonate. I listen to my body to hear the wisdom and joy of life. Let me say it again. I listen to my body to hear the wisdom and joy of life. Don't we have the affirmation, the benediction now? We keep
Looks like the slide's missing, but we'd love to have Margie give our benediction before we do our closing song.
Oh, I'd be honored. Thank you, Ruth. Oh, and just taking our precious breath that is so healing when we feed ourselves, and knowing with gratitude what our breath does, and the gratitude of this wonderful service today, Reverend Patricia's message, Doug VanWoerkom's poetry, the music, everything, just gratitude. We take it with us and we bless each other. We take our love and we bless the world. And we're grateful for all that we have. And we know that the universe leans towards justice. And so with this, we go on our way with these blessings, and we enjoy the week with love and joy and peace. And so it is. Enjoy our music, our closing song.